Hello and welcome to Conservative to America. I'm your host, Cole Holcomb, and today is another episode of Cole Reacts. Today I'm going to be reacting to this video made up by Echo Chamberlain. It is the fall of modern Disney, and it's narrated by an AI-generated Walt Disney. This is not really him, but it sounds like him, and it's really cool because it really talks about how Walt Disney has fallen and kind of how Walt Disney would respond to how his beloved company is going today. The company with his name on it is going today. So, let's watch this video. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch.
Good evening, friends. You know, I founded this company, way back now in 1923. If you find people would indulge me, I'd like to fondly imagine what it might look like on its 100th anniversary in the distant year 2023. I'd give anything to be there with you. But this seems to be one of those times I'm tied down here at the studio night and day. And incidentally, have a handkerchief ready. It's a wistful and romantic notion, I suppose, but I dream of superheroes running around wearing brightly colored spandex. I hope that by 2023 my Disney studio will produce a new Snow White, a very special kind of motion picture, and one of which we're very proud, which will deconstruct the old fairy tale with romantic notions being shunted aside and Snow White's dwarves being replaced by magical people in flaky socio-cultural prevailing attitudes, and the mezhij. Well, I suppose you can't blame a fond old man for dreaming. The wholesome family values and romance that have stood as a cornerstone of my company will, I can only hope, be jettisoned in favor of characters who are strangely sexless, who don't become involved in relationships. It's my fervent wish that the indulgent writers of these characters.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's what this whole Disney company was designed on. It was all about a company that wrote love stories about princesses and love stories about Mickey Mouse, Mickey and Minnie. That's what they wrote. They included a love story in their movies because that's what they realized people like. And people still like that to this day, but everyone's afraid because it's like, what do we look at? Do we do this transphobic gay junk, or can we still do a boy and a girl dating? Can we do a princess saves the princess? Well, in today's modern day Disney, they can't do it. And frankly, they won't do it. People call for it, but they refuse to. Walt Disney would be very upset because they are ruining the properties that Walt Disney had set out there. I believe that if Walt Disney knew where this was going to go, he probably would have made all of the knew that this is where his company would go, and this is where his name would go, to a company that ruins every single piece of every foundation of the Disney company. He would probably entirely get rid of the he'd probably put all of the Disney properties as public domain. That's what I would believe Walt Disney would do. He would move all these Disney properties into public domain before he died. If he would have known that this is what would have happened, they might as well do that today if they're not going to follow the true story of these characters that they've done. And that's exactly what Walt Disney designed these characters in a way that made Americans love them, in a way that built his company. He's talking about these timeless classics in here. The AI-generated Walt Disney was. And you know something? That is, if it wasn't for Snow White, Walt Disney, the Disney company, would not be what it is today. And Disney still tries to go through and ruin it. That's the reason why I believe this is not going to be a popular motion pictures film. It's going to lose money at the box office, a lot like what we're seeing in all these other Disney classics that they've changed up. They've changed the story in these new Disney movies that they're trying with all this new trans junk that they have in there. So, I mean, that's just really what you find. So, let's keep watching.
Assemble a film that alienates great swathes of the nation and ultimately sucks balls to such an extent that it loses my company $250 million. Why, it is my most cherished hope that a new version of the beloved Little Mermaid, a real Disney favorite, will include a musical number by a squawking, spluttering woman who sounds like she is mentally deranged. A song that sucks so much ass it were if the torture suction device affixed to the eyes in Saw X had instead been attached to society's collective rectum and placed on turbo, causing a catastrophic colonic hemorrhage. In the far-off times, decades hence, I would be delighted if my Disney company produced a kids' flick featuring a first non-binary character to instill in impressionable boys and girls the charming notion that they too could embrace the idea of being non-binary and gender fluid. My hope would be that my company would herald the studio's 100th anniversary celebration by ditching the wholesome, earnest family values and trademark charm in favor of a hopelessly complex and abstract premise with a tangle of other in-universe rules destined to bore and confuse little children and falling flat at the box office. I envisage my company overseeing
Exactly, just what I was...
film franchise that gets spun off.
Exactly, just what I was talking about. Stuff that falls flat at the box office. Walt Disney productions have falling flat at the box office. The stuff that Disney creates is falling flat at the box office. That's what you find. They create junky stuff. This stuff does not sell that Disney makes now. The stuff that includes two gay dudes kissing and a children's TV show that's meant for 3-year-olds, that includes two gay dudes kissing and two girls kissing and talking about their marriage, okay? Well, guess what? That is not at all what Disney had planned for his company, and he would not be happy, I believe, if he figured out that this is where his company was going to be at in the coming years. So, I mean, this is really just what you find whenever you start looking at the Disney properties. Their company that runs it now, this is not the same Disney company that there was whatever Walt Disney was, or even the same Disney company that it was 20 years ago. This is a different Disney company that's pushing propaganda on children's movies, television, and entertainment. And as a nation, as a group of people, we need to stop it because, frankly, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Okay, let's keep watching.
Off into so many movies and shows, it sinks to the level of including a gargantuan, fat-assed flute-playing R&B singer who has a reputation for haranguing and fat-shaming her backup dancers. Fingers crossed that in the future my theme park might include a Star Cruiser hotel that will require decent folk to shell out thousands of dollars to have the simulated experience of being human trafficked by being ushered into a panel van, which is ostensibly a space shuttle, and taken to their small windowless bedroom in a hotel. In keeping with the time-honored verities of my company, I can only hope that a future film version of the beloved Peter Pan will feature Wendy punching Peter out like a bitch. Were my company's vision to be brought to fruition in distant years hence, I would envision the pointless resurrection of a show about a valiant little person used as a vehicle for Los Angeles scriptwriters to flaunt the sexual awakening of a ginger-haired girl under the seduction of a plucky established lesbian. And the two of them lesbianizing as irrepressible lesbites in lesbicious fashion, while a narrative about spells and quests progresses in tandem without overshadowing the lesbian.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Whenever you start going into this gender, whenever you start going into this gay stuff, into this non-binary, straight, spoon, mayo, eagle type of junk, okay? Whatever they start telling me, my pronouns are mayo, eagle, misher, sheeper, okay? It's just a bunch of junk. And that stuff doesn't sell in the box office because parents do not like it whenever you start coming up with all this non-binary, tranny, demi junk that you are pushing in children. It doesn't sell at the box office, and even if you're not pushing it in children, people don't like it because it's weird, because it's strange, because it's not what you expect from a company that makes children's movies. Okay? If I want to watch that, or if anyone wants to watch that, they expect it to come from HBO, not the Disney Channel. Okay? This is just not how this company is supposed to run, or how Walt Disney wanted his company to run.
Despotic tendencies of the Scissor Sisters, whose coupling provides a romantic and optimistic core to the story. My, oh my, what a wonderful future lies in wait. What I started way back in 1923 is bound to receive its greatest realization and apotheosis a century on in the distant future of 2023. One thing I can be sure of. The custodians of Disney in the future will take the values that I hold dear and express them in wholesome, engaging, and above all, original films and shows the whole world is bound to love. I'd give anything to be there with you.
I'm sure he would. He wouldn't. This is what you find in liberal propaganda. This is what the left pushes. It does not sell, it does not work, but they continue to push it because it's their woke ideology. We need to stop it. It's bad for children. It's bad for people. It's bad for business. It needs to come to an end. I am your host, Cole Holcomb of Cole Reacts here on Conservative to America. Thank you and have a wonderful day.